Scott Bessent roasts Mark Carney. Why can't Pierre Poilievre say this? Let's take a look.
What about Canada? We've got a bit of a rift there lately, and there's different accounts between you and Prime Minister Mark Carney about that call this week post-Davos with President Trump. He says that he dug in and reinforced the message. You said that he walked it back.
I was on the call. Prime Minister Carney, in my investment career, I've seen what happens when a technocrat tries to pivot and become a politician. It never really works out well. So I would just encourage Prime Minister Carney to do what he thinks is best for the Canadian people, not his own virtue signaling, because we do have a USMCA negotiation coming up, and he rose to power on an anti-American, anti-Trump message, and that's not a great place to be when you're negotiating with an economy that is multiple larger than you are and your biggest trading partner. In the end, I think we will end up in a good place. It may not be a straight line.
Are you saying that they will face consequences in these trade negotiations, reopening the USMCA?
I am saying that I would not pick a fight going into USMCA to score some cheap political points. Either you are working for your own political career or you're working for the Canadian people.
Look, why can't Poilievre say something like that? I'm not sure what conservative people in Canada are supposed to cling to or even supposed to believe that Poilievre's view is with regard to foreign policy and negotiating with America. I just think if Poilievre said something like that, he would skyrocket in the polls. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments below. But I'm going to play about 20 seconds of that again from Bessent, that little bit in the middle.
So I would just encourage Prime Minister Carney to do what he thinks is best for the Canadian people, not his own virtue signaling, because we do have a...
Look, why can't Poilievre say that? That is such a great line. I firmly believe Poilievre would skyrocket in the polls if he said something to that effect. Hey, Mark Carney, cool, your Davos speech was a nice virtue signal for your friends in Davos, but what does that do for regular Canadians? Like, am I taking crazy pills? Why doesn't Poilievre and the Conservative Party say something like that?
Is best for the Canadian people, not his own virtue signaling, because we do have a USMCA negotiation coming up. And he rose to power on...
And again, I think Poilievre should say this exact thing in the House of Commons.
He rose to power on an anti-American, anti-Trump message, and that's not a great place to be when you're negotiating with an economy that is multiple larger than you are and your biggest trading partner. In the end,
look, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I know there is some differing opinion on this in Canada. Maybe half the Conservatives, I mean, these are just rough estimates, support something that I would say. And then there's the half that also say Poilievre can't do that because the moderates will be turned off from him. I do not, by the way, think that's true. Although, yeah, I mean, we can have that debate. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching and have a great day.